To introduce myself or not?
Now, yes.
Hi, I'm Glenn Blackway, a Navy veteran of Vietnam. I'm here to talk about my uncle from World War II. My father was in the Navy, my uncle was in the Navy, but the one I want to talk about is my mother's brother. He saw it pretty bad, and he never talked to anybody after he came home from the war. He never talked to his parents, his sister, his brother, his relatives, nobody. Then one day he pulled me aside a few years ago and said, "Hey, can we talk?" Actually, he talked, I listened, and we went and sat in the car and closed the door and the windows, and he wanted to tell me about his experiences. Well, when you watch the videos of people storming the beach in World War II, he is one of the men on Omaha Beach. When they dropped the gate on the landing craft, he hit the beach first. And fortunately, he made it to a berm where he was safe, and he managed to live through it. He was one of the original boots on the beach of Omaha Beach. I need to say no more about Omaha Beach. He was laying in the sand when he heard some general yell out, "There's two kinds of men on this beach, men that are dead and men that are going to be dead. So let's get off this beach." And he didn't realize how famous that was going to be later on, because if you watch the movie The Longest Day, that is actually in the movie. It is not something that some writer wrote. Those are actual words that were spoken by this general. Now, my uncle saw some pretty awful stuff, and he got carried back out after being injured. And when he was going back on board ship in the gurney, people asked him, "Were you scared?" And my uncle said, "I was only scared one time. And that was the time I got off the ship to the time you're carrying me back on the ship, injured in this gurney." And a lot of people were like, wow. Originally, they didn't believe him at first when he told me he's only scared once, because they interrupted him. But then when he continued with his story, he finished it, where he was scared the whole time. And I asked my uncle, "Would you like to go see Private Ryan, the movie, with me?" And he looked at me and says, "No." He says, "I was there." So he had some really interesting experience. He had his ankles blown off by a mortar. 67 men took a hill, 13 came down alive. Now this is in Germany, and it was a German mortar, and the mortar came over and blew apart his ankles. Not to mention it hit his Indian friend in the head. They were asleep in a foxhole. So I think that's about it for now for my uncle's story. I don't want to go into any more details. That's enough. Thank you for listening.